Okay, Monyett, we want to hear all about the YouTube Science Tour, so take it away.
So I'm going to give you a little bit about my background, and then I'm going to go into one of my favorite science YouTube videos. And then what we're going to do is I'll take you through some of my favorite sites, channels, YouTube channels that have science either loosely or explicitly as a theme for what they do. And so hopefully you'll enjoy this journey of discovery, as I have a lot of fun with science, even though I am no way a science person. My parents did buy me a chemistry set when I was a child, back in the day when you actually had real chemicals. And all I wanted to do was make things blow up. So they had to take the chemistry set away from me, because I would just mix things together regardless of what the instruction book said. And a couple of times I think I was making very noxious, poisonous compounds, trying to figure out how to make something blow up or explode. So that was kind of my start with science. I didn't really pursue it. I went into communications as my degree field. And from there, I became the first intern at Mile High Cablevision. Mile High Cablevision had the first cable franchise here in the Denver, Colorado metro area. And as the first intern, they were building up their what they called local origination. And that was the department that was going to do videotape programming and local sports out in the metro area. And so I became the first Black female handheld sports camera operator. And from there, I did directing, things like that. So I've always had an interest in video because of that and my communications major. Well, one of my favorite things that I found on the internet that kind of, uh, as a video person who likes to see videos, and then as a person who likes science, is the chemical party. And so we're going to all go to the chemical party. And I don't know if anybody has heard of it before. Judy probably has, but hopefully you guys will enjoy this. And part of the reason I like the chemical party is the camera work. So sometimes I am looking at things from a camera person, a director, a video director kind of eye, but other times I just think it's an inventive way to help educate people. So this is actually coming from one of the Scandinavian countries originally, who put it together, if I remember right.
Wait a
And
minute,
so,
Monyett, I got to
mhm.
tell you what Joe put in. So she asked for a chemistry set for Christmas. Instead, she got a biology set. And
Ah,
instead of blowing things up, she had to cut up a frog.
oh, yes, I had my science class in high school was just before lunch. And so I love to eat, and I would hate having that smell on my hands and stuff, because you can't quite get rid of it, and then still have to eat. But I still ate. I did not let what we did in biology class interfere with me getting my lunch. So I can totally understand how the dissection class is not everybody's favorite. Definitely. So we are going to watch this. Uh, um, I will play the sound. It does have music with it. So let me know if it's too loud or not loud enough. So you all are seeing the chemical party? Yes? Okay.
Can't get it now. I can't get it now, but I can get it. Can't get it now. I can't get it now, but I can get it. Walked up the stairs. Walked up the stairs. Can't get it now. I can't get it now. I can't get it now, 'cause the fucking downstairs are going.
There's no more sound, Monyett.
So I took the sound off because it was just so distorted. It was buggy. And basically, it's a fun way to learn how different chemicals bond together. So hopefully you guys saw a couple of things, right? Carbon attracts four hydrogen. Zinc can come and break up a chemical bond. So that's chemical party. We are now going to go to and I don't know what happened to my Chrome. All right, so I have to apologize. I have run into a technical problem and all of my tabs are gone. Okay, I don't know what I did. So, all right, while I rebuild, I will talk to you about a couple of things. So the first,
go and pull up a certain video.
all of my tabs are gone. I don't know what I did wrong, but it's okay. I know what they are. I have them all in a folder.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we're going to go to next is Will It Blend? And have you heard of Will It Blend? Anybody? So people have heard of Vitamix, right? The blender.
Mm-hmm.
Blendtec and the inventor of Blendtec, the developer who created this, was more of a commercial oriented blender. So you would see Blendtec at like Jamba Juice or in bars, things like that. It had more of a commercial application. And when Vitamix started becoming popular, the developer of Blendtec was trying to think of a way to market his blender. And so he created the Will It Blend series. Now, first he started out by doing this on TV shows, and he got quite a bit of popularity from an interest from him doing these blending experiments on TV shows. One of the first was he took an iPhone, put it in the blender, and blended it up. So he started this series called Will It Blend. And not only did it take off and help his company sell more blenders, but he became kind of a YouTube celebrity. And he started this way back in about 2007, 2008. So we're going to go to his channel. And take a look at one of his. So one of the latest he has, and on his channel, he's divided things into try this at home, don't try this at home, because some of the things that he blends in the blender are broken up into more dangerous compounds. So it's not something that you would want to try at home. And plus, it can often ruin the blender itself. So for this one, we will play sound.
Will it blend? That is the question. Salutations, everyone! I've been blending iPhones for more than 8 years. So I was super excited for the new one to come out. But when I saw the iPhone SE, I said, hey, isn't this the old iPhone 5? Sure, it's a little better, but I thought the SE would bring something extra to the market. Instead, it seems to have the same engineering as the old one. Apple said SE stands for Special Edition. But I've got some other ideas. They say it's highly recyclable. So maybe SE stands for super environmental? It has a 4K camera and their fastest processor. So it could mean shoot and edit. You know what? The thing is full of old iPhone 5 parts. So I bet it stands for surplus electronics. Well, who cares why it's called SE? What I really want to know is, will it blend? I think I'll push the smash everything button.
So you get a flavor for what his channel is like. He takes all kinds of things. He'll take suggestions from people and he will try to see if it will blend. He's done things from the iPhone, which he was his first video back, or his first blend that he did as a public demo. I think it may have been on Jay Leno's show back in 2007. So he's been blending iPhones for a while, but he's done broom handles. He's done, they even took an iPad and they had to break the iPad to get it into the blender. But he will test all kinds of things. Also on his channel, he does have real food and smoothies. So he does have other things on his channel as well. But I have to admit, I kind of like the more destructive side of Will It Blend. The next one I'm going to take you to, and I have to get that out of there, is the slow-mo guys. Now, you saw in the video that he was doing, you could see he would have real time and you would see it whirling, and then he would have this cool slow-mo where you can really see the action of what's going on. So these gentlemen, the slow-mo guys, decided to devote a whole channel to slow-mo videos. And when they first got started, they had some very particular equipment that they could afford. But because they became so popular, specialty camera manufacturers have provided them with even better and better equipment. So they can do some amazing slow-mo videos now. They also will highlight and showcase other people's slow-mo videos. So the slow-mo guys is where we are going to next. And any questions before, or comments before I go on? Yes, no?
I think
Yes.
that the reason you like the destructive blended is because you're still craving a chemistry set.
I am, probably, yes. And I have to admit, I'm a little cheap, so I don't want to buy the stuff and mess it up myself. I do enjoy the armchair of it, watching other people. And then also my family doesn't fuss at me, right, for the noise or the destruction. I think that is incredibly apt. Okay, so now we're going to go to the slow-mo guys. Now, I will warn you on this one, if anybody has any problem with the, there will be flashing. So does anyone have any known issues with flashing? You may want to just blink a lot or just look every once in a while at the video. I'm not going to play very much of it, but this video, I'll let them explain why they put this video together.
YouTube's ability to correctly display it. Yeah, we're going to try and annihilate the compression algorithm. We've come kind of close unintended. intentionally before with things like the Gallium video or other videos that have lots of things going on at the exact same time on the screen.
It usually happens when there's tons of fine detail all over the frame, and that detail is changing positions from frame to frame, like confetti or snow. And on YouTube, the lower the resolution, typically the lower the bit rate.
The way we're going to try and do it is with glitter, because that's got the smallest little things, the finest little detail. I'm going to try and dump as much of it as we can at once onto the camera.
I can't think of a more difficult test for compression than this.
Hopefully we make a watchable, unwatchable video.
Yeah, hopefully this is the most watchable, unwatchable video.
Yeah.
Did I just repeat exactly what you said?
Yes.
Okay, for these shots, I want the camera to be looking directly up at the ceiling. Although on this head I can't actually fully get vertically, so I have to finagle this a little bit. I feel like this tripod's going to need a chiropractor after this.
I mean, you might as well give it acupuncture. They're about the same usefulness.
Ooh, hot take, B. Let's just flood it instead of spot. All right, lights flooded. Actually, pretty good coverage of the ceiling. All right, Dan, this is the final time that this room and all of our equipment will not be covered in glitter.
I'm more nervous than I should be.
Let's take a moment just to appreciate that.
Ah, look how clean it is. Look at that. Everything's not covered in glitter. Ah,
I love it.
this is brilliant.
I love it. On we go.
Yep.
Is it getting close?
Yeah, it's getting
I can't
close.
see. Oh! All right, quite full.
You've ruined it already.
You may remember this device from our oil fire video.
What? Just the old video, isn't it?
Also, device is a mug on a stick. Marcus made it.
Telescopic stick.
Go
Ready?
for it. Yeah.
Oh, goodness me.
So I am going to skip ahead to what it actually looks like. But you get to see how they set up. These are people with science background, but they're doing a lot of homemade, and they have a garage area that they work in. So I wanted to show that beginning part so that people could see that some of these things that you do that are science-based don't have to require a big fancy lab. They don't have to require special equipment, though these guys do use a special camera for doing the slow-mo. All right, so now we are going to skip ahead. And so again, just a warning about the flashing and things like that. Blink a lot or just turn away if it feels like it's a little too much for you. And I'm only going to play a little bit of it just to let people know. So what they were trying to do was they wanted to use glitter basically because it has a lot of detail, and the digital video can't handle a lot of fine detail. It will do pixelation or it's going to blur. It just can't handle the amount of data, right, in order to render a really good picture. And so that's what they were trying to do. That's what they were saying when they were trying to break the internet, is that they were trying to overwhelm the digital capacity of the video that's on the internet to be able to hold detail. So hopefully that made sense. And then we're going to go back and we're going to look at what that looks like.
Is it playing, Monyett?
I'm not seeing anything.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me get back to the right spot. And then that was my bad, operator error. Okay, now you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that.
some good.
Whoa, that moment there. Do you see that moment I mean?
But it almost looks like convergence is coming in on the center, and then when I go through, it like spins
looks like
out
spinning,
again.
yeah.
It looks like
look
you're
at this, it's
spinning in a
spinning.
circle.
Yeah.
That's the glitter right there. Those little.
Like, that's really odd.
I've really lost focus here, but it looks cool. It's really. It's like a phone background. This might be the most abstract thing we've ever filmed.
It's crazy.
Do you like it?
I really like it. There's a bit of red there, a rogue piece of red. It didn't remove.
Spot the red.
Yeah. Whoa, that's crazy.
So I've put more depth in now, and it's in focus for a lot longer, which causes tiny little flares.
It looks like TV static, but like
So
more
you're able to see that. And you could see how blurry it was, that the digital just can't handle that much detail in the image. The next science I wanted to show you is now this person's website. What I like about theirs is that they do, okay, just waiting for the commercial to play. So I had everything queued up so we didn't have to wait for commercials, unfortunately, since I lost my tabs. So this person is
it might be that you just opened a new window on top of the old one. Look under your Windows menu to see if.
No, it was gone. I hit something and lost the entire Chrome window. So yeah, I don't know what I did. Every once in a while I do magic. So this video is from a YouTube channel, and the gentleman is a medical illustrator. And what I like is that he does the illustrations while you're watching. And so for people who are interested in knowing maybe more science, more in-depth science on a particular subject that this person covers on his channel, you can, he goes into very good explanations, but he uses the scientific terminology and so on. So this one happens to be the Epstein-Barr virus and infectious mononucleosis, also known as the kissing disease. And I will have in the handout links to all of these channels. So sometimes I am showing you from the channel to the video. Other times I'm just showing you a video from the channel. Okay, so let me get that set, and then we will go into screen share. And this time I will do it right. And you see the brain, yes? Okay.
The Epstein-Barr virus typically causes an asymptomatic infection, or it can cause acute tonsillitis as part of a bigger infection called infectious mononucleosis, also known as glandular fever. Epstein-Barr virus infections typically occurs in adolescents and young adults and is transmitted orally via saliva. This is the reason Epstein-Barr virus infections are also known as the kissing disease. Nearly everyone will be infected with an Epstein-Barr virus at some point. The good thing is that for most of us, it is asymptomatic. You have no symptoms. In this video, we will talk about the primary Epstein-Barr virus infection, which is asymptomatic, and how the infection can evolve to become infectious mononucleosis, which is a symptomatic made up of T cells and B cells. In the tonsils, the Epstein-Barr virus targets B cells and the tonsillar epithelial cells. This is called the Epstein-Barr virus primary infection, and this is usually asymptomatic. Once the Epstein-Barr virus infects the B cells, the Epstein-Barr virus has an incubation period.
So I just wanted you to see, once again, here is someone with the scientific knowledge and not necessarily using fancy equipment or anything like that in order to demonstrate. So this is another idea for people who want to do videos or want to share things. We have the whiteboard feature of Zoom. And so you can do annotation or live writing like this person is doing in their video, or you can, as they do, actually do the drawing. So I just thought that that's a neat way and a different way to explain science. My next one that I am taking you to is a science teacher who does science videos. And what I like about his is that he also actually shows you how to even do these types of screencast or science videos. And so we're just going to watch a little bit into his explainer video, and then I'm going to show you his channel a little bit more just so that you can see the amount of work he has. He's been on YouTube for several years now. Most of the sites I'm taking you to have been on YouTube for at least 5-6 years. So there's often quite a bit of content. So this is Bozeman Science, and we will go back into screen sharing, and then we'll take a break after him, and I will entertain any questions or any comments anybody has so far. So we're going to go to Bozeman Science.
Screencast on how I make screencasts. So this is going to be a little meta at times. I made a similar video 10 years ago, and a lot of the software and hardware really hasn't changed that much in the last 10 years. And so let's call this the decennial edition, or better yet, the coronavirus edition. I'm getting tons of emails from teachers and want to know, how do I make these videos? Because they want to make ones of their own. And so this is the 10-year anniversary. Hopefully the next one in 2030 I make in virtual reality. But before we get to this, why do I make screencasts? I think all teachers should make at least 1 or 2 screencasts each year. And the reason why is I make a lot of videos just on how to use software, how to use websites. And so if you've got a Google Classroom and want kids to know how you submit assignments, for example, I use them for tech demos. Like this is a Zoom tech demo, for example. Or maybe we're doing a lab and I want to record a lab maybe with my document camera so I can share that with my students remotely. Then I just record the screen and then I share that with them. But then a lot of us are using them for instruction. So kids don't want to sit through a 40-minute Zoom as you read through your slides. So just making short, less than 10-minute instructional videos so they can get to the content when they need to get to the content. And so to make a screencast, you really just need 3 things. The first thing you need is a computer. And this is the computer that I'm looking at right now. I'm on a Mac, but you could do these on PCs or even a tablet if you want to. Now, I've added a few things over the last 10 years, and if you were to buy one thing to add, I would argue that it should be a microphone. So I got a relatively cheap USB microphone 10 years ago. I'm still using the same one. If you don't want to do that, you can get one of those headphones with a microphone on it, and it just gives you better audio quality. Your students will think they're better, and they won't know why the video is better, and it's just because the audio quality is a little bit better. One thing I've been using a ton lately is an old iPad with an Apple Pencil that I never used. And then I'm using software called Desk Scribble. I try not to buy software unless it's really worth it. And this $10 piece of software is the only one I've found that can kind of do, let me show you what it can do.
So I am stopping it there. But I just want you to get a flavor of what you can do, and you don't have to have, again, big fancy setup. You can do this. And so I, again, will have the link to his channel, and he does list out all of the software and equipment that he has. So I just thought this was a good video for people to be aware of. And now I'm going to show you a bit of his channel, and then we will break for some questions and any comments and things you have so far. So I'm going to go back into share and let you have a look at his channel. So when you are on YouTube and you are looking at just a YouTube video, just a regular YouTube, and you don't have, sorry, I went to the wrong link. when you are just at regular YouTube, you will see, depending on what you search for, how you look it up, you will see either this type of view that just has all kinds of information or videos that YouTube is pulling up that they want to highlight, or you will go directly to a specific video that you're looking for. When you are at someone's channel, like Bozeman Science, it will be set up usually with their kind of introductory video that they may have that explains about the channel, or it might be the latest video that they have. There will be videos down below that are considered a play list of their videos, and you can always hit play all. And then down below will be all of their videos. And some people organize their videos into different categories. So this person organizes their videos into different categories. When you have an account like I do, on the left you'll get additional options, and you can save and set up to watch videos at different time. If you don't want to watch it right now, you can save it to your library. You can look at your history of what you've watched if you want to rewatch it. So you get some advantages by having an account on YouTube, and the account is free to set up. So I do recommend, if you are going to be using YouTube a lot, to go ahead and just set up a free account. It just makes it easier for you to save videos to, if you've got a channel that you want to watch regularly and you want to know when a new video is going to be posted, this allows you to get that notice. So we're going to take a break because this is a lot of watching, and I'm open for comments, suggestions, or anything. Has this at least open up your eyes or maybe your mind to not only what you can find on YouTube, but also what you might be able to do if you want to create YouTube videos. I am working on creating a YouTube video for my family. It is going to be using Google Earth. And so it's for my family Zooms. And what I'm going to do is take pictures from different states and cities and locations that our ancestors lived in. And I'm going to put it into a little tour and have little explanation cards that will show where this site is and who lived there. And so they don't know that I'm doing that unless they've been watching these Lunch and Learns. So hopefully I'll have that done in a couple of weeks to surprise them. But anyway,
I wanted to show Monyett here, I don't know, let me collapse it or go back. This is the document camera he was talking about. That you can get these in tech stores or on Amazon. But if, like, let's say you wanted to do something and upload a YouTube video, this is great if you wanted to do a demonstration. So Monyett, a while ago, she taught us a little bit of origami, and she used a camera so she could do the display. So if you even think about activities with grandchildren, yeah, there's her camera that you can't see in person, or like, say you're teaching a game or a card game or something like that. I mean, there's lots of ways you can use a demonstration camera to let you show, because sharing the screen is one way. And by the way, when you click on share screen on Zoom, that takes you to the whiteboard that Monyett was referring to before as well. So you can do, I've done where I've shared the screen using the whiteboard with my granddaughters, and then we all just draw on it and scribble and whatever. You can divide it up in sections for the amount of kids that are involved, or people. I mean, there's all sorts of things you can do with this technology. But I want to say one thing about YouTube, as Monyett has brought us through some of these different activities on YouTube, and many people don't go to Google to search, they search in YouTube. So YouTube will give you sometimes better video, although sometimes within the Google search, the YouTube things will come up, but it may be buried. But it's really great because you can get a video explainer or explanation of something that might cement learning a little bit better. So there's really, I mean, as Monyett has found, there's the most unbelievable stuff on YouTube, but then the really practical and educational. I know I've heard of some people who literally did an encore career change where they started their due diligence, so to speak, into their next iteration of their work by learning things on YouTube. And so anyway, I just wanted to let you know that the sky's the limit and you can really open up. Go ahead, Lori. Oh, you're on mute.
I do therapy with kids, speech language therapy. So with that camera, I could show things that are on my desk. Is that I'm?
Yes, and Lori, you could borrow it anytime.
Oh, thanks. How much does one of those cameras cost?
This particular one, I got a really good one. So this one's $100, but they have them for 30 or whatever, you know. So but I wanted a really good camera on it, and with a couple of options where some of them just, you know, are a little simpler, but they work fine. Like I looked at the reviews, and even some of the inexpensive ones were just fine.
And I would recommend one that has her style, because mine that has the gooseneck, I actually have to make a cardboard stand for it, because with the gooseneck it gets heavy and it'll fall over when I'm doing desk shots, whereas hers is designed to bend, and so it's balanced.
And then
so
the base is weighted, you know.
Yes.
It's enough weight to keep it.
So that's something to keep in mind, is whatever mount you get for that camera, you want it to be kind of stable, but some of the mounts take up a lot of desk space. So you do want to look at that depending on how you want to use it.
Thank you, that's really helpful. Judy, I'll take you up on borrowing it.
Yeah, anytime, Lori.
Thanks.
And what is it called?
What are these cameras called?
Yeah.
This one is
webcams. They're often called webcams. So hers is a book cam.
HD webcams, but I Googled or I searched gooseneck cameras.
Oh.
When you put in the HD webcam, you get all the cameras that attach to your screens. But if you put the word gooseneck, even though this isn't really a gooseneck, these come up better. You get more of this.
Yeah, or document camera.
Or it's actually for, like, teachers use them. They call them document cameras.
Okay, thank you.
So the next person I'm going to show you, she got her start, and I'm not too sure how old she was when she started. Hers, again, about 6 years on it, and she does an even simpler kind of presentation. And so again, I just really like the creativity of how people are exploring how to use this medium in order to share science. So this is one of her first videos, and it's the one that got her early notoriety for what she does. So I'm going to show you a little bit of that first video, and then we're going to go and I'll show you what she kind of does now. So she's going to start off, and basically she has notebook paper, and she's talking about how the different size in the notebook paper from going from the States to England.
From England to the US, and you got your old school supplies from England and your new school supplies from the US, and it's your first day of school, and you get to class and find that your new American paper doesn't fit in your old English binder. The paper is too wide and hangs out. So you cut off the extra and end up with all these strips of paper, and to keep yourself amused during your math class, you start playing with them. And by you, I mean Arthur H. Stone in 1939. Anyway, there's lots of cool things you can do with a strip of paper. You can fold it into shapes, and more shapes. Maybe spiral it around snugly like this. Maybe make it into a square. Maybe wrap it into a hexagon with a nice symmetric sort of cycle to the flappy parts. In fact, there's enough space here to keep wrapping the strip, and then your hexagon is pretty stable. And you're like, I don't know, hexagons aren't too exciting, but I guess it has symmetry or something. Maybe you could kind of fold it so the flappy parts are down and the unflappy parts are up. That's symmetric, and it collapses down into these 3 triangles, which collapse down into 1 triangle, and collapsible hexagons are, you suppose, cool enough to at least amuse you a little bit during your class. And then, since hexagons have 6-way symmetry, you decide to try this 3-way fold the other way, with flappy parts up, and are collapsing it down when suddenly the inside of your hexagon decides to open right up. What? You close it back up and undo it. Everything seems the same as before. The center is not open-upable. But when you fold it that way again, it like flips inside out. Weird. This time instead of going backwards, you try doing it again, and again, and again, and you want to make one that's a little less messy, so you try again with another strip and tape it nicely into a twisty foldy loop. You decide it would be cool to color the sides, so you get out a highlighter and make one yellow. Now you can flip from yellow side to white side. Yellow side, white side, yellow side, white side, white side? What? Where did the yellow side go?
So you can see how clever she combines history along with paper art and shows us a puzzle. And she does go on and give more explanation, but I wanted to also take you to what her channel has morphed into. And so let me go into her channel. And again, I apologize for the delay, because unfortunately my tabs were all ordered and now I have to keep opening them up one by one. So now we're going to go in and see what her channel looks like now. So up here is that layout where she's got her latest video up there, and then she has all of these videos. So you can see she's been here for quite a while. She hasn't broken them out into different groups. When you're on someone's YouTube channel, there will be up here different areas. Videos will be all of the videos that they've created, that they've uploaded. And sometimes you get to the bottom of the page and you have to wait till it refreshes and brings the rest of them up. So you can see she has quite a bit of content. Going back up to the top, playlists are going to be videos that they recommend or they follow that you may have an interest in as well. And so that's what the playlist will be. Sometimes it's their own content, but oftentimes it will be other content that they want to share. Channels will be if they have more than one channel that they are interested in or that they've created. And so these are the channels that VI Heart has that she likes. And the about will let you know about the person, whatever information they've put up about themselves. V Heart likes triangles and apples. And then she joined, and she has had over 128 million views of the content she has uploaded. Over here are different channels that she might recommend or things that she likes that she shares with you. So back to the home, and I am going to.
It's just one of those days where you wake up
this.
thinking that if you jazzed up Stravinsky's Owl and the Pussycat, it'd be awesome. I mean, the original seems like the kind of thing that wouldn't get stuck in your head because it's a 12-tone row that usually goes something like this. Wait, Stravinsky stuff is copyrighted? Come on, Congress. Alright, well, since copyright law promotes cheap imitation, we'll just have to write our own version called the Fowl and the Pussy Bat. Pussy Bat? How about Laser Bat? Laser Bat? Oh, now fowl sounds lame. How about bowl? But we all know it's a bird bowl. Okay, so the rule of a 12-tone row is that you have to use all 12 chromatic pitches in some order, and you go through them one by one. But you can add some creativity by choosing the note lengths, what octave it's in, you can add rests and repeat the current note. You can even switch back and forth between.
So you can see she uses very simple very simple materials, a notebook, colored pens, and she writes. She's not quite as artistic as the gentleman who does the medical art, but she still is fairly innovative, and she uses a more stop motion style of video recording, which you can do very simply. You don't have to have specialty equipment to get that kind of stop motion effect. And she just does simple voiceover for the things that she does. Now I'm going to show you people, two channels, Reactions and Physics Girl. These are a little more sophisticated. These are people who are actually doing these as regular shows, and they have backing from either an institution or Physics Girl is actually part of PBS for her content. So just to show you what it looks like at maybe a higher level. And so Reactions is a chemical, back to blowing things up, a chemical channel that has, again, their videos are going to be a little more sophisticated. They actually go out in the field and do their videos, and they'll have experts to talk and things like that. So I'm just going to show you their channel. I'm not really going to show you that much of a video, but just to show you kind of what they have on theirs. So we will go back into screen share. So this is Reactions. They are a chemical-based channel, science channel, and they do have one that is about antibody testing, which is very interesting. I'm just not, like I said, I'm just not going to go into it, but I just wanted to show you. So here are things like, how does Xanax work? How does anesthesia work? Things about spice. And then they take questions and try to answer the questions. Just general chemistry information, and then specific content. So you can see they have quite a bit broken out on their channel. And even though they're doing the coronavirus style, right, because a lot of us are at home, you will see videos where they have gone out in the field and actually taken images and done recording and stuff outside of a studio or outside of their home setting. Physics Girl is one of my favorites. I really like how she explains science, and she always has, I think, an interesting take on it. So I do highly recommend her. You can see she's got 1.6 million subscribers. Reactions are still under 1 million in terms of their subscribers. And so while I like both channels, I do like Physics Girl, and she is part of PBS. So I think maybe she just has more support in how she puts her information together. But she does a really, really fun take on physics. So I do enjoy her. I also want to take you to, you'll see. So Smithsonian is a collection of channels, not just one particular focus area. And so these are just, of course, amazing. It is the Smithsonian. And so when you go into their channel page on their YouTube, you will see all these awesome channels that they have. One channel that is so NASA YouTube. When I was working, the last time I was working at what's called a head-in, that is a location that accepts signal from multiple different
SpaceX, this docking
inputs,
sequence is,
and then sends that signal back out. It kind of is considered like a booster station. And so Denver is uniquely situated in that we are almost in the middle of the United States. We are a mile high, so it actually costs less money for us to send signal to satellites to be shared across the globe, across the country. And so I worked at Vivek's Teleport, which is one of those booster stations. We take signal coming in different ways, and then we boost it and put it back out. And we had the contract to carry NASA's live, and we had to be very careful because anytime you walked past those monitors that had NASA, all of us would stop and just be mesmerized by what we would see. So they actually had to put the monitors on a turntable so that people wouldn't accidentally get hypnotized and forget that they're supposed to be doing work. And we would just be watching these beautiful, beautiful space shots live. So I'm going to go back into NASA. I'm not going to play anything from it, but I just want to show you it is so much fun. If anybody has things about space that they want to learn about, this is just a government. It is free for us to use and reuse. So if you want to do educational things, NASA or any of our, or the Smithsonian, well, sorry, not, yes, the Smithsonian, any of our federally funded entities like this, you're able to use the videos and everything is copyright free. So you can get, if you want to educate or share things, this is a great places to go to our government websites, NASA being one of my favorite. So I'm going to go to their channels just to show you, like the Smithsonian, there's all kinds of content up here, and they do have their live feed, which I don't know if you can get to it straight from this, but they do have their live feed, and it will just be images from the space station and from the satellites that they have. One last large entity is the Royal Institute, and let's see if I can get to it. Yep, Royal Institute. So this is out of England, and they're similar to our Smithsonian. And they have, like the Smithsonian, all different types of content area. And because it is a government-funded entity,
Hello. 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 Hello.
highly recommend you also check them out for science with a British accent. And so you can see that they have slightly different take on science, and they're very good, I think, at making it approachable and understandable, but quite a bit of content from the Royal Institute. The first video that was playing, their little one, is because they also need to solicit donations and funding for them. So I don't know quite how it works in England for the Royal Institute, but apparently they do also need to have donations as well. And so that's what that video is. But I do find some of these really interesting takes on science. So I'm going to stop sharing.
Monyett,
I have only
chat. So can you explain the difference in the meaning of subscribe to different web pages? Senior Planet is free with voluntary donation. Okay, that's true in certain locations, not Colorado. Colorado is 100% free for everything. But the Smithsonian, but is Smithsonian free, or do you have to pay like the TV cable channel? So what subscribe is first.
So when you see they say subscribe, that means that you will get access to their latest content. You'll get notifications. So subscribe just means that you want to be notified whatever activity or information that they're sharing, you want to be notified about that. So that's what subscribe generally means on YouTube. Now, when it comes to paid subscription, that's when you're paying for those additional perks that you would get as a paid subscriber versus someone who just goes to the video and watches the video. I hope that makes sense, right? So subscribe and paid subscribe are two different layers of subscribing, and then subscribe just in general means that you're going to get access to content that you wouldn't get access to otherwise. For the Smithsonian and NASA, you can subscribe to that channel. There is content that Smithsonian has up that is free for you to see, and then they do have content that they reserve for paid subscriptions and for their paid channel. So you may only get maybe 5 minutes of what might be a half an hour or an hour-long documentary, and you only get to see 5 minutes of it on the YouTube on the free side.
Another question, from Lois is, she's opened a YouTube app, but now it has 101 things on it that I didn't knowingly request. What does that mean?
So I don't use the YouTube app because I don't watch a lot of stuff on my phone because it's too small and I just tend not to watch. So I will listen to things audioly on my smartphone, but I don't usually watch the video. So I have to admit, I haven't really used the app. What I would imagine is once you sign up to the app, the YouTube is going to promote featured things. And so when you sign up to the app, they're going to promote those featured things maybe more aggressively. So I'd imagine that's part of what you're seeing of those 101 are going to be what YouTube thinks that you might be interested in or they might be featuring. I'll have to look that up and I will add in more information about the YouTube app in the handout. So I will add that.
You know, that's interesting when you look at the difference between downloading an application like onto your phone or your tablet versus just going to the site itself. So, you know, you don't have to download everything, right? You can just go view what you like to view when you like to view it. So remember that you don't have to, you know, plus that's eating, you know, could be eating up data and also other issues that you don't have to mess with when you're just on your Wi-Fi, you know, at home and going directly to a site and looking things up. So, you know,
Well, I'd like to undo it then. I only wanted to know how to sew a mask and now I've got 100 and
yeah, just hold your finger on it and it should say uninstall, pops up, and you click on that. You can go into the store, whatever.
It's easier to uninstall an app off the phone than it is to get off your computer, I found.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the Apple ones, it says delete app is the phrase.
Okay.
Yeah, Android will say uninstall and then Apple says delete. So yeah, but get rid of it.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that should be good.
Judy, one thing I just wanted to mention that I found useful is I found a browser extension called PocketTube that lets you organize your subscriptions into groups that you make up.
That's
and
cool.
I found that that's very helpful with YouTube.
Dave, could you spell that?
Or put it in the chat?
Yeah, I'm putting it in the chat. Or you go ahead, Dave, you put it in.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of that. I tend not to subscribe to much stuff because I'm already inundated in my email box with so many other things.
Oh,
well, all it does is it actually changes the YouTube display and gives you a little section that has groups. And then when you are on a channel, it has a little menu to subscribe. Once you've subscribed, there's a little menu to drop it into a group. So it's just a handy organizing thing.
Right. Instead of maybe putting up a YouTube account or setting up a YouTube account, you could perhaps use this and get some of those same functions.
Even if you have a YouTube account, if you have lots of subscriptions, you can sort of just get lost in there. So if I have a group of just funny things and I wanted something funny, I just go to that section.
Cats.
Exactly.
You know, one of the things I was thinking of, like Stella, for example, you know, you crochet. And, you know, let's just say you wanted to use like the document camera, teach like the steps of crocheting, and you do it on Zoom. You just hit record like I did for this meeting. And it automatically, like, so I told it to record to my computer. It automatically is recording, like, so when I shut the Zoom meeting down, I don't have to do anything other than close it. And that recording pops into, on my PC, I don't know how it works on Apple, and Dave can clarify that, but it pops into a folder it created itself. I never created a Zoom folder in my documents. It did it all by itself when I started, you know, a few years ago on Zoom. So then I go into that folder and there's the audio file, the video file, the chat, everything related to what you did, right? So then I go to my YouTube, right? So by having Gmail, right, I have YouTube. So I go to the YouTube and I take, it says upload with a little camera. I click on that, it opens a box. It says go to a file. So I click on that button, and then there I go, and it takes me to my computer, and it's, oh, here's documents, Z, bottom of the list. There's the Zoom folder. I open that Zoom folder, and I see the Zoom video. I click on that, boom, it uploads it. I won't say boom, it depending upon how long it is. So
Shazam!
These meetings tend to take about 20 minutes to upload into Zoom. And then I label it, I say what it is. So let's just say Stella's Crochet 101. And then, you know, I always put the date on it and all of that. And then I say, no, it's not for children, or yes, this is for children, because you have to do that on Zoom. You have to say, you know, so there's nothing shady going on. And then you can pick a picture, like you could take a picture of your finished, a finished piece of crocheting, and you can put that on your computer, and then you can use that as the picture for the front of the video. Very simple steps. And then you can take, and it generates a URL, a link to share, and you just take that little link and say, oh, here, everybody of my friends who wanted to know how to start to crochet, here's my little video, as opposed to telling the same, you know, a lot of people something over and over and over and over again. So it's amazing. You don't have to necessarily be in business, like, and the same, Lois, with you, with your masks. How do you make a mask? You know, this is how I do it. This is the quality of my masks and how they're accomplished. And then, oh, here's pictures of the different masks and how much they cost. You know, so you can set up a little business, or you can just do it for means of communicating something that would be harder to do, you know, just talking somebody through it.
Okay, yeah.
Show them.
So Judy, I will include those instructions because I hadn't thought through. I call these the poor man solutions, right?
Yeah.
These are the low cost ways, because this is what I'm actually going to do for the family. When I do my tour for them, this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to follow so I will add those instructions that Judy just gave. I'll add those to the handout.
And Monyett, if you could do screenshots so you can see exactly where these little things are, these buttons and all. And so that's exactly what I do when this recording is finished. I wait till it uploads and processes, and then all I do is shoot it up onto my YouTube. I'm supposed to put it on the Senior Planet one, but I can't figure that out yet. So I can't do that. But anyway, it's a nice way to easily, so in other words, if you were to take that Zoom video, it is enormous, and you could never send it in an email. It's so huge. But by putting it up on YouTube, now I can send everybody the link, and they just click on the link, and they don't have to worry about the size of the video. So,
many students have to create a YouTube video of some of their work, put it up there, and the teacher goes. And so I've actually had my niece and other people, and even me in my master's program, we had to create a YouTube video, upload it so our professor could see our work. So I had forgotten about that. So thank you, Judy, for bringing that up.
That's a lot of, you know, there's interviewing done on Zoom. There's all sorts of things. We were talking about that the other day. Oh, Suze, it says, I never get a handout. You have to give me your email. I will never send you a handout if I don't have your email. The people who are on the call every day, I know who they are, and I download the list. But if you don't have a Zoom account, it doesn't give me your email address. So you have to put it in the chat. If you do have an account, a Zoom account, then I will see it in on the report. of who attended the meeting. So, but it's just easier if you throw it in the chat. I can just pull it right from there when I send the follow-up email.
One of the other things that I do, and part of the reason I can adapt the handout that I create is because I'm a technical writer. So it gives me practice to do this. And so your feedback on the handouts or what you want on the handouts, I totally appreciate.
Yeah, and if we forgot something, you can always just email us back and we'll let you know. Go ahead, Lori.
Oh man, you're just sparking so many ideas for me.
Yes.
I tape record my sessions with kids, and actually Zoom does it. And I'm seeing now that I could upload those because they're all being stored on my computer, number one. I'm requesting that you do a session in the future on editing videos, if it's not too intractable.
That would be good.
Because it'd be so great for me to take a session of the child that when he first started and be able to edit enough to show the parent that 3 months, 6 months later, he's made so much progress.
Right.
But I don't know how to edit videos.
Okay, we'll do edit video.
One of the things I used to do as a camera person, one of my side gigs, was I was the official videographer for the cultural track at what used to be called the Denver History Museum. Not history, the museum at City Park. They changed their names on me and then I can't remember what they're called. Anyhow, the one at City Park. And so for their cultural events, I was the camera person who would come and videotape, and then it would get edited down and sent to their grant funders so that they could know highlights of what they had done. So there are some easy ways to edit video that don't require the full setup and transfer, especially when you're doing a highlight.
Is how so many people create YouTube video channels and they monetize them. And I don't know what it takes and how they do that. I'd be interested in that.
Yeah. I will add a link to that info.
You're big in terms of a session. Yeah. So that would take
a session.
Yeah. And then you need something like, you have to have a way to accept payment and, all of that. We do an Etsy and PayPal session, so that hasn't been converted to virtual yet. So I'll ask about that. But yeah, that's part of it, is making the connection so that they can actually buy something. Let's see, session on YouTube video casting would also be helpful. Can one limit the audience who will see what would upload, so just for family? Oh yes, so when I post the video, it can be private, it can be unlisted, it can be public. So you have all the options that you assign to a particular video within. So let's just say you have some that are public, some that are unlisted, some that are private. You get to pick within your channel what you want a video to be.
Similar to Facebook, right? You can control who can see your post. Same with YouTube. It's the same principle.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Any other questions?
And that's at the free level. And then once you've paid, if you pay, say you're monetizing the YouTube channel that you've created, you'll get additional things by paying and having it set up as a business. But I will put in some information sources for those for you.
Muriel, aren't you a sweetheart? Muriel just said she wants to be added to our list for future classes because this was one of the best classes she attended so far. Thank you.
Thank you. Even with my tech issues.
Let me explain
Thank you.
how this works. So if you were in Colorado, Muriel, are you in Colorado? You can just type in no, New York. Okay. So Muriel, the link that you came in today on is the link that we use every single day, Monday through Friday.
Except tomorrow.
Except tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow we're off for Juneteenth. But Muriel, you can use the same link every single time to come in, And we meet at 11:30 Mountain Time, which is what, 1:30 your time. And you are always welcome. And so we do a variety show, so it's never the same. So you'll get a lot of different topics. We try as best we can to make them things that most people would have some level of interest in. But I think we all learn something every single time, right?
Yeah.
So that's good. All right. So, and you know, I think one of these days coming up too, I'd like to do like we started our in the way beginning. It's just like kind of let's hang out and chat together and find out who's everybody is and what they're up to. So we might just
Yeah,
have
that's a good idea.
Yeah, kind of like a nothing agenda day. How about that? It'll save my brain.
Give you a break.
So
Yeah.
this is a standard weekly thing that you do?
Daily. We do it every day. Yep.
Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday.
Oh.
You can come on every time, Sharon. We'd love to have you.
I will, on and off. Great. That's exciting. And I found people in Colorado.
So
I know I was exercising with people from Maryland yesterday, but my daughter found this, you know, the whole thing, Senior Planet, and I'm so excited. I haven't stopped talking about it to everybody.
So what will happen is that I can't send you the newsletter with the Colorado list on it, but you can go through the website. You can go to all the different locations and see what they're offering. And
Okay, I have done that. Thank you.
yeah, so you won't have any trouble.
And I didn't know that Colorado's that new to this. That's even better. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a fun group here, so we're really enjoying this, and we love to have you. It just makes it a lot of fun. So we have got, and actually Dave here on the call today, he's going to be, and Monyett's going to be working with him too, but we're going to be doing a whole series on Gmail and searching and all sorts of things to do with that. So that will be coming up over the next 4 weeks. And so we've got stuff slotted in, and you know, so you can get, and if you, you know, if you just if you just go onto the Senior Planet website and put in events Colorado,
right,
then that events page will come up for you, and you'll see the week's worth of
Terrific.
Yeah.
Sharon, one reason we have such a fun group is we have a fabulous leader.
I'm noticing. I'm seeing that. Yes, yes.
Yes, Judy's great.
Say that, or I won't send her food anymore. Lori, I haven't done that in a while. I actually have been goofing off. Haven't been cooking much, but more.
And she sends her granddaughters over with presents. Her granddaughters are so precious.
Oh,
I'm in love.
It's funny you say granddaughters. When we first started, my granddaughter was texting me, but it wasn't normal. It was through an iPad, and I'm receiving it in email, and I'm receiving it in, I don't understand what they're doing. I'm getting it in different places. Dave might know, but I'm not great at explaining it. So I have her repetition from the iPad, or then she said she has a new gadget and she can text me, but one is on text and one came out of email, so I have no idea what's going on.
Sometimes people text me and it goes to my email, and I'm like, I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, and then I get a whole different frame of font, and then I get the repetition. That's because they're doing it without giving the child.
Sharon, are you on Apple products or other?
No, I'm Apple.
Apple. So Dave does a Tuesday and Thursday at 9:30. That's 11:30 New York time. He does an Apple Addicts program where you can come on and talk about whatever you need answered, and he is a genius.
This Dave right here. Yes.
This Dave right here.
Yeah.
He sounded very
Dave.
Very knowledgeable. Right, that's at 9. I saw some of that. Trouble is, I never know how to explain it like this, and I can't get my questions worded correctly.
Well, when you do it on Zoom, Sharon, it'll be good too, because you'll be able to hold things up to the screen too, and that,
Oh,
so Dave can see.
oh, that's right.
Yes.
9:30 on which
Yeah,
day?
we actually have people share their screens or their phones or their iPads so everybody can see what they're looking at. So, and I have a whole series of documents to explain to people how to do that.
Awesome.
Yeah, and so the whole Gmail Google series that we're going to do, I told you over the few weeks, Dave's been making the handouts and sending to me. So you're going to be getting really valuable information on that. So yeah, we'll have fun.
Terrific. Okay.
Okay, anyhow, anybody else have a comment or question? Oh, Lori, you're so sweet. I'm glad you're learning something every time.
Yay.
So this is the way we thank Monyett and say we're so appreciative for your
This
work.
is the way I thank you too.
Yeah.
And
celebrate Juneteenth.
yes, and
tomorrow.
You know what I'm going to do on Juneteenth? I think the library has the book White Fragility. I'm going to read that book and reflect on that. So,
I just wanted to say my grandmother was a refugee from the Tulsa event. And so when my mother bought this house in '74 and we met Mrs. Robinson, who lived next door, they actually had lived next door to Grandma. But grandmother's name had changed over the years. She had gotten married. So Mrs. Robinson didn't know that she had a neighbor from my grandmother was actually helped by Red Cross. It was so traumatic. So many people were displaced and stuff that Red Cross actually sent aid tents and stuff to help people out. And grandma was put on a train and sent to Kansas City, I think, first. And then it's part of the reason why I have family here in Denver. They actually had to relocate since they lost their businesses and insurance was denied them.
Oh gosh, Monyett, that's unbelievable.
I've been to the museum.
All insurance companies denied everybody. There was not one insurance payment made.
Yeah, and there is a list.
I did not learn
of the people
about
who
this
had
in my history lessons.
You know, you talked about the white fragility. I just got this book. Does it come out backwards to you?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
No.
And that's how little I know about technology. But having 6 grandkids here, and I'm originally from Detroit, so I feel very, I just am not used to it. It took me so long to get used to lack of green, and now it's lack of black. Excuse me, I make it that way. And we want our children, and they're starting a group, and we're reading this book, and they've got a lot of parents wanting to get together and figure out what we can do.
Yeah. You know, I would really I'm trying to find buddies for my granddaughters. One is 8 and one is 6, and they're so, they're so lonely. I mean, my daughter's doing a fantastic job every day for them, but you can imagine not being with any other children, not interacting, not, a new friend of the year, for the new school year. And so if anybody has grandkids that are about that age, I'd love to pair them up. Actually, we sat down on the computer last weekend and I made them lists. I said, well, tell me what you're about. What do you like? What do you do? So we sort of did like I guess it's like a Tinder profile.
Yeah.
But have they branched out in the neighborhood I'm talking about? As my kids say to me, I have to decide what risks I want to take about being out there. And I did go and buy flowers by myself. I still have food ordered, but the kids are meeting up with neighbors. I mean, in the outside, and I've had a couple of my aged friends inside because I know where they've been and who they've been with. But you're saying your grandkids haven't had any
No,
That's
no, we agreed as a family that we would isolate so we could see each other. And so we've
right.
kept that way. But the point is that these children, and I think Zoom would be a really great platform where they could talk together. They could be drawing and coloring and chatting and showing what they're doing. I mean, whatever their interests are.
Yeah.
But I think we need to do something to get them together. This is going to be a long summer and potentially another long year ahead if schools don't go back the way they were before. So anyway, think about it. You can always, shoot me an email at judy@seniorplanet.org if you have any ideas. So
I remember how Romper Room used to make you feel like you were with, because she would do that little, and I can see you and I can see you kind of thing. And I just think that Romper Room kind of idea is a neat way of what you're talking about, Judy. I don't have kids, so we've been doing it with the adult Zooms and some family Zooms, and some of our kids have been showing up to the Zoom, but they're not that interested in it, right? It's more adults talking. And I think I'm going to suggest that on our next family Zoom is that we set aside some Zoom time that's time appropriate for the kids to get to meet each other, get to talk and learn, not just us adults. So thank you for that, Judy.
We did, on one of these calls, we did a game. And I'm trying to figure out, there's got to be some games that we could do with kids on Zoom too. Or even the kids, and that we could participate with the kids as well. So that's something to think about too, is to try to, have those interactions. I've read stories to my grandchildren, over Zoom, but they need to talk to their peers, and
there are channels for children and educational channels for children that allow them to interact like a Zoom call. So I'll look those up. I won't put it in the handout, but I'll share that with you, Judy, so that you can.
Yeah, that would be great, Monyett. Thank you. So anybody have any ideas? Throw them our way. All right, well, time for my sandwich.
Thank you.
Can I just say that might be a good topic? There are so many grandparents that maybe a topic is, as grandparents, how do we, what are some channels for grandkids? You'd be the hero in the family.
I have a friend who has a niece far away from where she lives, and they do Zoom cooking classes together. But she's a little older, 6 and 8. Yeah.
Camera. Right.
Yeah, so they were making similar items at each home, and then they showed them to everybody. Of course, she put it on Facebook. And I thought that's really cool, but that's if the mom at the house with the 6 and 8-year-old is not working at home. Yeah.
Yeah. But
you can take these ideas that we already have and create your own channel until you find somebody else, right? You can create this. You don't necessarily have to wait for, PBS or somebody like that. You can say, okay, we're going to have a Zoom story time, and maybe have the different kids read different parts of the same book.
That's
right. And they can read to you and read to each other, and it can be done as a Zoom call. So don't let always, I just don't want anyone to not realize we can do this ourselves. We don't always have to have the professional or the, PBS or whoever. We can do this.
Yes.
We already have pretty much everything with Zoom. We can do it.
Time is an issue.
Great.
Oh, sorry. I'm done.
Okay.
You all are sparking me. Sorry.
All right.
No, I mean time to do all these different, design all these different activities. All right.
Don't forget to delegate.
Yeah, delegate. Yeah, that's a word I didn't learn.
You start the Zoom, but you delegate somebody else to do that activity.
Oh, by the way, Monyett?
Yes, I know. I have to get off. I'm sorry.
I was delegating to you.
Oh. I thought it was a stop. Talking.
Have a good weekend,
everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thank you, guys.
Bye. Thanks again, Monyett and Judy and Dan.
Welcome, Lois. Welcome, everybody.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
It was great. Thank you.
Bye.